Coach Kalen DeBoer of the college football playoff-bound Washington Huskies joining us now from his office. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, but not as good as you. Congratulations, first of all, on so much national coach of the year. That's got to be just beyond your wildest imagination on how fast everything has gone for you. I mean, what is this, your fourth year as a head coach? Fifth?
Yeah, four here, kind of on the second run. I was 5 years at
Right.
Sioux Falls, 4 years here, 2 at Fresno, and here 2 at Washington. But been an awesome journey, all 4 of these years, and something different each and every year. And obviously, this is a special season for these guys, and we've got an amazing staff. And these type of awards and this type of success doesn't come about with everyone, just pulling their own weight and going above and beyond. And that includes the players who just, have continued to make plays. And it's been a fun ride here this year for sure.
Well, Indiana, of course, just named a new head coach in Kurt Cignetti. And one of the things that I had sent out, but right before they hired, I said, the more I looked at his resume, it had similarities to someone named Kalen DeBoer. The guy won everywhere he went, and that's not at the level you did, but you have won everywhere you've been, and that just means so much. Now you're at Washington, and you have them in the college football playoffs. You had a Heisman candidate quarterback that you've tutored for multiple times. That just all of that in itself has to be an incredible reward.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's all about providing these experiences for these guys, these players. If you keep the main thing, and it's just understanding how awesome sports is, how awesome college athletics is, and enjoying the moments that come with it. And trying to keep the main thing for the coaching staff, our guys, have perspective on where this sits, and just these memories and these relationships are things that are going to last a lifetime. So there's a lot more to it. I get it. Winning is critical in this business. You need to win, and all that comes with it. But it's pretty, it's a pretty enjoyable moment right now that we're in. And we certainly are taking the approach that we're not done yet. We've said we haven't come this far to just come this far. And so the guys are very determined to make the next step, which we know is a big one, a great challenge against a great Texas team. But we're excited about that opportunity.
Kalen, you guys were the start of the season was incredible and quickly rose up to where you were, Michael, and his accolades as well. And then the Pac-12 was just tough this year, and people kind of, I'm not going to say they wrote you off, but they kind of started disrespecting, I think, Washington and the play. And I'm like, man, this is a tough conference and like a close game with Arizona. Well, 2 weeks later, Arizona's ranked because they played 5 ranked teams in a row. I'm like, you don't get it. I go, that's a tough league, man. And you guys were able to navigate the waters and to go undefeated. And even though I know you've done that a lot of times at the lower level at Sioux Falls and whatnot, to do it at this level in the Pac-12 this season, that is spectacular.
Yeah, there's a lot to that, what you just said. I think when in regards to the Pac-12, I think there were 8 different teams that were ranked in the top 25. Like you said, and Arizona is a good example of that win earlier in the year. We had a chance to go up by 21 in the fourth quarter. We fumbled on the 5. They went down and scored, made it a 7-point game, and it kind of was looked at like, that wasn't that great of a win. And now you look back on the season, you're like, that was a really good football team that we played. And they were still finding their own at the time too, and gaining momentum. But all the quarterbacks in the league that were driving these teams, it was well documented before the season. I do think there was a piece that was lost as the season was continuing, and even though we were able to maneuver through it and not, get bounced and have a loss, a lot of the other teams were beating up on each other. And as that happened, the rankings, I think, for each of those teams, for the most part, maybe other than us in Oregon. Those teams fighting each other, certainly, when you get those losses, you drop in the rankings, but the schedule was extremely competitive. There is such a fine line between, winning and losing the higher you get, and especially with more programs. And so it was a challenge. We looked at, the whole season, but when the schedule came out in November in particular, and we faced 3 of the 4 teams we faced were all ranked in the top 25, including, a number 10 Oregon State. And, that wasn't including a rival game against, the Cougs, which is always going to be tough. You might as well throw the records out there. And then having to come back again less than a week later, 6 days of prep on a short week, and beat Oregon again, for the second time. So 5 ranked teams, you alluded to Michael. You wouldn't do it without a quarterback that can make things happen, and he found ways to win. He had game-winning drives, responses when maybe there was some adversity. It might have been the second quarter or the third quarter, but those big swings that you always get in big games, he stepped up. Our defense stepped up, just picking up for each other, and that's what great teams do.
This is not negative, but and I know you have to write a fine line on this, but what in the hell is wrong with the Pac-12 media? Did they not pay attention to the season this year? And how does Michael not win Offensive Player of the Year? He went 3-0 against Bo Nix, which Bo Nix is a terrific quarterback. He's awesome. Oregon's a great team, but he was 3-0 against Bo Nix, and they give it to Bo Nix. I was more than shocked to see that.
Are you talking about the all-conference team and the players that came with that?
Yeah.
Interesting enough, that's actually the coaches, that voted on.
Oh,
that.
wow.
So yeah, I mean, that's and I think a lot of it might have to do with maybe if some votes being put in before the conference championship happened. I don't know that for sure, but there's a lot of other awards Michael's winning that he deservingly gets, and so
Maxwell, huge.
Yeah, and so again, you go back and Michael has such a great perspective with everything he's been through in his college career. He has kept the main thing, and it's all been about our team winning. And yeah, I guess if you're second team all conference, but you're a first team all American and player of the year Maxwell Award, like the second team all conference thing, you just kind of don't worry about. It doesn't mean much anymore. But that's where his focus is at, and I don't think it with all the other awards that's come along, including the Heisman finalists and stuff. He's just kind of taken that all in stride. Our team loves him for it because he just, it just kind of brushes off his shoulder because it's all about the team first and foremost.
How much fun was it to go to New York for that, for the event, the Heisman Trophy presentation, to be around all those guys? My gosh, all the former Heisman Trophy winners, to be in that room. That had to be just an incredible, not only amount of fun, but just a great experience. You're just an old-time football guy, so I know even for you that had to be really special.
Yeah, I think you could go every single year, and I would think even those guys that have won it and been there year after year after year, I would think it's some type of feeling that you have, understanding what the history is in that room and what the history is with the Heisman. Just such a gratifying time, knowing what Michael's been through, to be able to get to that spot, to get to that point, fight through the adversity, and just come out on top. His story is so inspiring, I think, to so many people. And, it's just really cool seeing him thrive in the moment. I think he just handles everything that comes his way, like the public piece, especially, with grace, just the way he always puts other people first and has such a humble approach. He represents himself, his family, myself in this program, our community, everyone who's been a part of his life, including, the Indiana guys. I mean, there's special people there that, have played a role in him getting to the point where he's at. But, he's just a class act through and through.
Coming up, you are preparing for Texas in the national semifinal game. A team that kind of similar to you guys. They throw the ball a lot. You've got Quinn Ewers, another standout quarterback. What have you seen from the Longhorns this year? What are you looking for? What kind of game are you expecting?
Yeah, we've been on the road recruiting, but I know enough because we did play them in the Alamo Bowl last year, and there's some new faces in there. And I think they've definitely taken another step forward, a couple steps forward. I think we have too. But they are extremely physical. Their defense is just suffocating. The front is really good. Their interior guys, I mean, all of them working together, just making life really tough, getting pressure on the quarterback, stuff in the run. And then, like you said, offensively, with all the skill that they have around Quinn Ewers, it's just really impressive seeing what they've done. Coach Sark has done an amazing job building that program year after year after year. He was a head coach here, and I embrace him as being a guy that's helped us get to this point, even though it was maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But he's done a great job with the Texas program. And so we know we got our challenges, and we're ready, for it, and excited about all of that.
And going into the college football playoff, it's a little different because your staff you're scouting 3 different teams right now. I assume with Texas,
Yeah.
and of course you've got to scout Alabama and Michigan as well.
Yeah, this last week our staff coaches were on the road, with recruiting, and there's some in and out. We got a couple practices this week, but our guys who break down the film, they've broke down all of the Texas that we need, and they've broke down all of the other 2, Michigan and Alabama as well. So their eyes are burning, and they've put a lot of work in, because you do. I mean, that quick turnaround from the semis to the championship, you don't get ahead of yourself, but that leg work can be done. It's not like you're game planning, but the leg work of the breakdown, throughout the course of the season is all part of kind of what you have during this big break that we have leading up to the Sugar Bowl.
So you're speaking a lot about recruiting, trying to mix that in with preparation. First of all, how hard is that to blend in recruiting with preparing for what is the biggest game of your career coming up?
It's really tricky. It's a balance act because you're really like trying to make sure everything with your current roster is intact. I mean, we have playoff run that we're trying to really focus on, but you also got to prepare for the future. And even with guys that for sure are going to be moving on maybe to the NFL or graduating, but then there's some guys that are still kind of just like waiting, and you're trying to plan ahead, maybe fill voids that are going to be left to someone who does leave for the NFL a year early. We have some of those situations, so it's a balancing act. It all comes down to communication. It comes down to our staff and our players really understanding, like, hey, we're trying to do what's best for them first, but we have to make sure we uphold the continuity of the program as well. So staff's doing a great job. Our players doing a great job. We have good people here, so that's comforting.
And now, is it harder recruiting, having to take that crown off as you walk through the prospective athletes' doors of being coach of the year and all of that stuff? And I'm kidding, because Kalen that's the least of how he is. He's one of the most humble people I've ever been around. But that's got to help recruiting when you're walking in someone's door, say, yeah, we're getting ready to play for a national championship. That's a lot better than being 2-10 in the past season.
Yeah, it does. It certainly helps. And our guys who were committed are excited. The guys in the classes that we'll be recruiting in the future certainly have been watching all year. We've been on TV a lot, national TV. And of course, just the excitement, you can feel it in the program. You can see it through the guys and how they play. It's certainly a lot of momentum going right now for our program, and taking advantage of it is a big piece of that for our staff.
And for those that don't know, fans in Washington, I don't want to say they're nuts about their football, but they freaking love their football. I mean, that is a loud place. It sits. Does your stadium still sit right on the Puget Sound?
It sits on the Puget Sound, would be to the west. Our stadium sits and overlooks the Lake Washington, but yeah, it overlooks water, and our fans. It's an amazing environment. A lot of our alumni stick right around, a 4 million as far as Seattle, greater Seattle area. And, it's, I think the city's a different level of buzz when the Huskies are winning, and that's what's happening right now. And so it's really cool seeing the excitement. We feel the support. The guys do a great job embracing all of that. So a lot of momentum there as well.
Will you still let the guys wear the purple jerseys once next year?
What do you mean, the purple jerseys?
Wasn't it the purple helmets? It was the purple helmets, I think.
Oh yeah, those are kind of once in a year type. I mean, you can wear them more if you want, but the strategy uniform, yeah. So, are you saying just because it was a close game?
Oh no, yeah, just because everybody was giving crap. Don't worry don't wear that. I'm like, that does not make a difference. They don't know what color their helmets are. I promise you.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like Indiana basketball fans refusing to allow them to put names on the back. I'm like, man, they don't know what's on the back of their jerseys. They're playing. They got stuff to do. Next year, you come back to Bloomington to play the first year that Washington is a part of the Big Ten. You're on Indiana's schedule. Has to be kind of wild to look. I know that's not something you're looking at right now, but that's just in and of itself. That's got to be something that's kind of wild and cool, maybe.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Indiana is a great, piece of my heart. I mean, my 2019 season there was a special year, and just embraced in such a great way, and just my family and I just enjoyed our time there. And so coming back and probably seeing some familiar faces and all that certainly will be something I'll be excited about. But rooting for always the places that have been a part of my journey, and Indiana being part of that journey, can't help but have a piece of rooting for the Hoosiers and the past seasons, and also the future.
And I know you're obviously completely focused on Washington football and the upcoming college football playoff, but has there been any thought in looking towards or planning as far as being a part of the Big Ten and how that's going to change as opposed to being in the Pac-12?
Well, I think there's some things, with recruiting and your footprint, we are certainly West Coast, with our footprint, but there are things, I think some things that can evolve and happen. We do have a lot of coaches that have a Midwest tie. William Inge is one of them, and Nick Sheridan is one of them. My offense coordinator's from Iowa. Our defensive coordinator, co-D coordinator, is from South Dakota, is a former teammate of mine. So a lot of guys that do have those Midwest ties and connections. We understand where our bread is buttered. That's still with West Coast, and why we've had success over the years here at Washington, going back decades. But I think some of those things will play it, and we'll evolve and adjust as time goes on.
Beware the jackrabbits and the bison, people. I'm telling you, those are some fun football programs if you haven't watched them in the Dakotas, which is wild. You would not think of the Dakotas as a football hotbed, but man, they always have some great football teams there. And of course, you were the coach of some of them.
Yeah. No, it's I think it gets overlooked. It's not a lot of metro areas there. So I think when you're looking at as a recruiter and the big programs trying to build pipelines and things like that, it's not always looked to. But those local schools, that's right where I grew up, is right in between those two schools you mentioned. Those guys take a lot of pride in that program. Those programs are really strong, and some good football players still that are playing at a high level at the FCS level there, for many, many years now.
Well, Kalen, I can't thank you enough for always being so kind to take time to be with us, even though I know you have a lot on your plate, especially this time. And I want to wish you the best of luck. I can openly root for Washington because I do not have a vested interest there. And so go Huskies. I've been wearing my Penix Envy shirt. And I should have been, I forgot to wear that today. I'm going to try to get Michael on, so that would be great.
Yeah.
But good luck, man, and out there. And I hope you guys win a national championship. And if you do, I'll be reaching out again.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's always great talking with you. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Kalen DeBoer, the head coach of the college football playoff bound Washington Huskies,